Monsters are a well-known thing on Earth, like Bigfoot, Nessie, Dogman, and many others. But what if some monsters don't seem to be from around here? Maybe monsters from beyond our planet. Let us discuss these cryptids that may be aliens on this week's episode of Cryptid Talk. Hello everyone, how is everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. I'm definitely doing a hell of a lot better. Last time I did sound a little nasally, possibly in anything, but a lot better today because the literally the weekend of that, and then the beginning of this week, I got a stomach bug, and oh boy, it was not fun. I haven't had a stomach bug like that bad or like at all since I was a little kid. I was a little kid. It was like I had it so bad that I was like awake like the entire night. And then, with just the stomach and all the fun stuff that comes along with it. And then and I don't remember actually being able to fall asleep until like the sun was coming up, and then finally my body just couldn't do it anymore, and then just passed out. Now I got it again, and it was still not fun. It lasted multiple days, and it was like it was just not fun. Like at one point, I thought it was just like, ooh man, this just felt really not comfortable at all. And then finally, it just came out and everything else like that, and it just, oh boy, I don't think I've ever wished a stomach bug at all, like on like my worst enemies, because they are just not fun because you can't really eat. It gets hard to drink. Like, you don't know if you're hungry or your stomach's just like, please no more. But you have to eat something so that you can get the bad stuff out of your body. And it is really not a good time, not a good time at all. Today I am doing a hell of a lot better. I was doing pretty good yesterday because I guess, let's see, today is so Wednesday was like the worst possible day for me before things started getting better these last few days. So thank goodness for that, and definitely nothing fun for there for sure. Uh, Dang it, where is it? Okay? Well, unfortunately, I can't find it at the moment, but right now, as I think if I mentioned before, but I will say again, it's not. I will be at the festival that I was at last year, the Central Pennsylvania Bigfoot Festival. I will be there again this year, August 3rd, at Elysburg, Pennsylvania. But obviously, as we get closer, we'll worry about it more then. It's only January now of 2025, and so we still got a long time till that. Um, Also, possibly thinking about doing another festival. Um, I think like 2 weeks before that, I believe. Let's see, if August 3rd is right here, and so August 2nd. They're not great now. Now I gotta be sure. Central Pennsylvania. No. Don't know what that is. Okay, Facebook page. Oh, August 3rd. Oh, I'm thinking the third is the third, and the third event of it, the third year of it. August 9th is the event, and I think like a week or two. I think like 2 weeks before that, I'll be at another. I'm attempting and possibly doing another festival. It's their first year for doing this one. I don't have the information available right now to me that I can quickly grab, but when the time gets closer, or if I am confirmed of doing it, and as we get closer, I'll mention it there and everything else like that. So at the moment, two festivals this year. May or may not do the one in Kentucky. I'll probably be going for sure just to go, but whether or not being a vendor or not there, hard to say. But we'll see and stuff like that. But so far, trying to do maybe two festivals this year, maybe something else. What else? I am going on a BFRO expedition this year, so that's really, really good. I'm really looking forward to that. the Pennsylvania ones. It's gonna be really fun. Can't wait to go. And that believe in June or no September. Man, I am just not. BFRO Expeditions Pennsylvania. Woo! June 12th. Yeah, it is in June 12th to the 15th. So I'm really looking forward to that. And since there was not a Pennsylvania Bigfoot expedition in 2024, I really missed going on one, and so really looking forward to doing this one. So another year of the Bigfoot for me and everything else like that. So and like some this year, when obviously we still got some time till it, will also be the year of the 1 year anniversary of this podcast, since we are at episode 34 right now. And so obviously there's been a few weeks that have been skipped here and there, but looking forward to probably maybe thinking of planning something special for that. I've also got some guests in the works. I actually just talked to a guest earlier this morning, asking like when they might be available, and they're like, I'm like super duper busy, hit me up in the beginning of February. I was like, cool. So hit that person up at the beginning of February. I contacted, and then through them I also asked someone else if they could send an email to someone else to see to confirm that they got, to see if they'd be interested. I've been contacting a lot of people who said they'd be interested, or recontacting them later this year when I talked to them last year. And so just hit them up and see them again. So we've got some guests in the works, and how many we will get and everything, hard to say. I know last episode I mentioned the book I was possibly considering doing, but nothing new to really update about that because it was only last week and everything like that. But trying to get some tips and advice from people of like what programs to use. Maybe I might as well just get Word, or do some of these programs that some other people have that they used as well, because some people actually didn't mention using Word at all. So maybe I might do something else. We'll see. But yeah, so obviously that's still going to be a whiles away. I can't even give a speculation of how it will be. Um, I don't know. I would like to make a goal for sometime next year, but we'll see. Maybe it might be sooner. Maybe it might be later. Who knows? But that's probably the next big thing that I'll be doing and stuff like that. Um, don't really got anything else much to say. Kind of hard to go out there right now because I'm getting snow where I am a little bit here and there. So it's colder and stuff like that. And also, I will say this, that there were, I believe it was in Mount St. Helens. There was actually, I think I saw it on the BFRO website. There were some people who, no, it wasn't on here, but there were some people who went hiking, I believe near Mount St. Helens. I believe like just after New Year's or after Christmas, and unfortunately, the boat people, passed away. The weather, they were not prepared for the weather, and I believe they succumbed to the elements. So please be very careful going out to the woods. If it's very cold, if you're gonna go out bigfooting, don't, like, unless you're like fully mega 100% prepared for it and stuff like that. But definitely try not going bigfooting in areas where there is a bunch of snow, especially in like higher elevation areas like Mount St. Helens and just any sort of mountains and stuff like that. But if you really want to, though, really don't try going camping. If anything, maybe do it like, find a place, in a wooded area, even if there's snow around, park a car, and then just listen. But at least you're safely near your car, or, stuff like that. But even then, still be careful, because depending on what kind of vehicle you have, you may get stuck in the snow and stuff like that. So just be mindful and diligent. And if you need to, wait till, there's warmer weather where you don't have to worry about snow. Just plan accordingly, and don't be so hastily to go out there looking, trying to have adventures. Unfortunately, the adventures may cost you your life, and that's it's not worth it. The discovery of Bigfoot and seeing it in evidence may be tantalizing and and an amazing possible experience, it's not worth your life. So please be careful and everything like that. Anywho, enough about Bigfoot. We're actually not talking about Bigfoot today. We are actually talking about something, if you probably realized from the title of the episode of the intro already. I think this deserved a bit of a special intro. I may say. We will be talking about alien cryptids that don't really seem to really match any description of any modern day cryptids, but seem a bit more extraterrestrial and stuff like that. Excuse me. Some that when you just look at them, that it's like that looks like an alien. That's like almost like the grade A definition of what an alien would look like. So, strap yourselves into your interstellar, space chair, comfy chair, and your nice, warm, comfy, heavy blanket, and let's get right into it. So we're gonna start off with probably one of the most well-known cryptids that I'm pretty sure is probably an extraterrestrial of some sort, and that is the Flatwoods Monster. Now, the Flatwoods Monster, if you've never heard of it before, was a very unique encounter that happened in 1952. On September 12th, 1952. The creature was seen to be around 10 feet tall and 4 feet wide, with like a very strange metallic body. But they're so we'll get to that. So okay, so the look of the creature is it appeared to have some sort of robotic suit, possibly worn by some occupant that that was inside of it. It had like a cowl in the shape of an ace of spades behind a very red rounded head. Set in the head were two eyes described as portholes, or just glowing green orange in the size of $50. The body was a metallic structure lined with thick vertical pipes. Some claim it to be black, while others say it was green. The existence of arms is a similar matter. Most state the creature was armless, while others claim that it had possessed small toy-like arms. Very, very strange. Very strange, creature just by the description of it. I will post a picture on the Facebook page when this video goes live, so you can get an idea of what the normal generic description of the Flatwoods Monster is. It doesn't look very like a creature. Like at first I saw it, I was like, that's a strange looking creature kind of thing. But after looking into a bit more and actually reading like the original description, like I just did now, reading it to you all now, it seemed like it possibly could have been more of a creature in like maybe it was like in like some sort of like little like suit, like an exoskeleton, or like a little spacecraft or something like that. But like probably maybe you consider make a little suit of armor or something along those lines, because most I've never really seen or heard many descriptions of it not having the arms, but more of it with the arms. But maybe it seems to be more of a like it's a creature like thing instead of just like a ship. So people decide to like, it had arms kind of thing, or like let's go with like the description of it was given more of arms than not arms in a way. And in such a very unique design, like there's definitely like this happened in 1952. So this was before Bigfoot got big. And Nessie would already have been a thing by now. Hold on. Google, when did Nessie start? Just get to remember. So it was brought to worldwide attention in 1933. So slowly but surely, monsters are starting to be recognized and seen by the world. But obviously, still some years before Bigfoot really stepped down into the scene and really brought the subject out into the limelight. So we're getting there, but not yet. But still a very interesting creature that this thing was described as. Well, what about the original sighting? You say, well, let's I'm gonna read. It's a bit lengthy, but I'll do start stops in here and stuff like that. But I'm gonna read the original report of of this creature. At 7:15 p.m. on September 12th, 1952, three little boys witnessed a bright object cross the sky. The object came to rest at a land belonging to a local farmer. Once they saw the thing land, the boys went to one of their mom's houses. They reported seeing UFO crash and land in the hills. Yeah, 'cause this is 52. We're gonna stop real quick. Oh God, Roswell, New Mexico. God, Roswell. Okay, that's Roswell, New Mexico. Alien sighting. I'm trying to remember when the UFO Roswell alien crash. Goodness, Google, you're not helping with me right now. Huh. Okay, so this would even actually also been before the about the Roswell incident. Wait, hold on. No. Oh no. Hold on. Something happened. Hold on. Roswell, New Mexican crash date. Okay, so yeah, so Roswell did happen. Roswell happened in 1947. So so only about 5 years ago. So this probably definitely not a very you know unnew thing, but still crazy nonetheless. Something happening this big like that. So okay, so we shall continue. From there, the boys and the groups and locals went to the farm to try to find whatever it was the boys had seen. One of the local dogs ran ahead of the site and started barking, and moments later ran back to the group with its tails between its legs. After traveling about 1/4 of a mile, the group reached the top of the hill. They reportedly saw a large pulsating ball of fire about 50 feet away. They also saw and smelled a mist that made their eyes and nose burn. A farmer then noticed two small lights over the left of the object and directed its flashlight towards them, revealing the creature, which was reported to have emitted a shrill hissing noise before gliding towards them, changing direction, and then headed up towards the red light. At this point, the group fled in panic. Upon returning home, the mother contacted local sheriff and news reporter. The news reporter conducted a number of interviews and returned to the site with a farmer later that night, when he reported that there was a sickening burnt metallic odor still prevailing. The sheriff and his deputies searched the area separately and found no trace of the encounter. Early next morning, the reporter visited the site and encountered for the second time and discovered two tracks in the mud, as well as tracks of a thick black liquid. He immediately reported them back as being possible signs of a saucer landed base at the premise that the area had not been subjected to traffic for at least a year. It was later revealed the tracks were likely been found of a Chevrolet pickup truck driven by a local, who had given the site a look at the creature some hours prior to Stewart's discovery. So those possible marks in the ground may have actually been something else, but from before, that's still not, that's the main thing. After the event, investigators associated the civilian saucer investigation obtained a number of accounts from witnesses who claimed to have encountered similar or related phenomena. These accounts included the story of a mother and a 21-year-old daughter who claimed to have encountered a creature with the same appearance or odor a week prior to the 1712 incident. Hold on, make sure. Okay. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment, but let me finish this up first. The encounter reportedly affected the daughter so badly that she was confined to a hospital for 3 weeks. They also gathered a statement from the mother of the local farmer in which she said that at approximately the time of the crash, her house had been violently shaken and her radio cut out for 45 minutes. And a report from the director of the local board of education was claimed that he saw a flying saucer take off 6:30 in the morning of September 13th, the morning after the creature was sighted. Okay, we're gonna stop there for a moment before we read the rest. So that part is always very interesting. So this was seen that this reportedly this creature was something similar was seen a week before by this mother and their 21-year-old daughter. And yet, you think like, well, why didn't they say anything, kind of thing, or people might be thinking that. Well, there could be a few different things. I should have looked that up earlier. That would have been something interesting to look up to see if any confirming evidence that this daughter really was in the hospital for 3 weeks from what they saw, because that is a very interesting point, because most people don't. If someone is making up a story, most people only go up to a certain point of like of how far into it they're trying to what's the word, try to give not really like how far into the story are they going to try to drag it out, or just seem to like get people to believe them in a way. Most people kind of only go with like maybe like, if we want to go through like the alphabet, like A through Z, A is like the beginning and Z is like they're giving like they're really going into it. Most people only go like a few, like maybe A through B, C, maybe D, or if even that. Maybe not many people really give that much detail into trying to fake something. Like Patty, for an example, like the original Bigfoot and Patterson Gimlin footage. Like most people, like if that was truly a person in a costume, people, like someone making a costume wouldn't think to be like, oh, you know what, maybe I should give her, give the creature breasts, just like, oh, it's a female kind of thing. No, most people wouldn't think about that at all. They'd just be like, oh, I'm gonna make a big hairy monkey costume. It's a guy, and I'm just gonna go, kind of thing. Like that's a detail that no one who's trying to think of it, especially back then, would even consider making the costume with breasts. So kind of not really there. But with this one though, and the woman saying that the it affected the daughter so badly she was confined to a hospital for 3 weeks for 3 weeks, adds a bit like, or like, okay, because like if they had just said that they saw the creature a week prior and that was it, then not, it doesn't really add much continuity to their story. But if they're going over more the fact, again, that we saw 3 weeks ago, and my daughter was so upset about it that she was in the hospital for 3 weeks. Obviously, at this point, probably it's unfortunate to say like she was maybe already in the hospital for a week or went in 3 weeks after the event of this. Hard to say. It doesn't really give much detail about that. But so the fact that they went a little bit more and say, like, oh yeah, she was in the hospital for 3 weeks. I mean, today maybe someone might come up with that. Maybe even then, that's kind of a tough detail to try to like say for sure of like, oh, was like oh, this thing is scared and terrified me so much, I was in the hospital, or like they give you they say something to say like, yeah, it affected me this badly, instead of just being, oh yeah, I saw it. But they said this, obviously they didn't go that deep into the whole like ABCD, but still decently enough to where like most people probably wouldn't go the fact to say like, oh, she was it affected her so badly she was in the hospital. Like, no, I don't believe. I believe they probably did see something, but before that, because well, let's say for a moment though, they didn't mention that. Let's say she didn't have to go to the hospital. Maybe let's say it didn't affect her that bad, but they still did see something. Well, why wouldn't they say anything? Well, two things. A, they didn't see anything, and so they are faking the story. Like, okay, let's try getting this fame a little bit. Let's say we saw like a week ago. Be like the people saw it before the event happened. Be like, whoa, like, oh, let's make us famous kind of thing. Or the more logical thing, which actually does happen with a lot of people, is A, they want to be met with the scrutiny of it, And then think anyone would believe them. But then once the sighting did happen and multiple people did see it, they're like, oh, other people saw this too. Let me come up. Let's share my story now. And it's like, yeah, we possibly saw this thing about a week earlier, and but like obviously no one believes, but now that other people have seen it, we have some backup support about it. It's like, okay, that's a lot more logical. Even today, you'd be surprised how often people see that, have something about that. I mean, especially when it comes to just simple ones like Bigfoot. People are it's just terrifying the fact like if they've seen a Bigfoot, they might, and they tell people about it, they might lose all credibility that they have, and that might affect their jobs, their livelihood, their families, and people can't really say anything. But for people who want to be affected about that, they also don't want to be met with the scrutiny. So, but like, oh, no one's gonna believe me kind of thing. But then when all of a sudden people nearby like, oh yeah, I saw it too, then you'd be surprised how often stories then start coming out of the woodwork of being like, yeah, I saw this thing last week, I saw this thing last year, I saw this thing like 20 years ago, stuff like that. And that happens a lot because people don't want to know, be that person to say like, oh yeah, I saw this crazy thing, and now I'm known as the local crazy person. Oh wait, other people have now seen it too. Maybe there is something else more going on, and I'm not that crazy. And it's unfortunate that it has to come to that point of other people coming out to really start saying something about it. But at the same time, it's actually not that bad because some people being like, I don't want to be sure, but then when other people do see something and people mention it, people then are like, okay, well maybe there are now other people who have seen this thing. I can now talk to the people about it, maybe figure out what I saw. And I believe that's possibly what happened here because, like, sure, Roswell happened, stuff like that. So aliens are obviously a thing, but this thing looks so crazy, looks so different than a normal alien that like how could they possibly people even believe them and stuff like that. And yet then this whole happened. They're like, okay, maybe we should finally tell people about this, and then they did. And then of course then and if you've been listening along, the story, like it happened on the 12th, September 12th, at 7:15 p.m. But then the following day, someone saw a flying saucer at 6:30 in the morning on September 13th flying away. And then that was it. Or so we thought. Maybe. Now I'm going to read this next part real quick. A day after the Flatwoods incident, a couple took taking a leisurely drive through the mountains of Frametown, West Virginia. At dusk, were met with a similar horrific experience. Their car came to a sudden stop and refused to start again. Shortly thereafter, a putrid, sulfuric odor filled the air. The couple, circling the vehicle in the hopes of spotting the culprit, spotting something far worse than they could possibly have imagined. From the waist down, it was similar to the Flatwoods monster, but from the waist up, it was more of a reptilian humanoid. This creature, thought to have been the same creature that was sighted in Flatwoods, but without the top half of its suit, is known as the Frametown monster. So not even a day late. Actually, no, hold on. I'm surprised I actually didn't think of this earlier. Let's go to Google. Let's go to Google Maps real quick. Flatwoods, West Virginia. All right, directions. And from Flatwoods, and then that one is the Frametown, West Virginia. So Frametown in West Virginia and Flatwoods are about 21 minutes away, or less than 20 miles from each other. So not that bad of a difference, but still not super duper mega close. Instead of being like maybe like a town or two over, though. But not far, that's for sure. So not even a day later, another similar creature was seen. But like the description said, it was like the Flatwoods monster from the waist down, but the top half, showed more reptilian humanoid-like creature. So possibly the occupant of the suit. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, what happened to the top half of its suit? Is this the same creature as before, but just, for some reason as in the top half, or was it another one? We don't know, because this was it. Even after the initial sighting of the Flatwoods monster, seeing the full look of it, that was it. And then a day later, we saw then this couple seeing the similar creature with only the top half of it gone, and this in the occupant of inside of it. It was never seen. Like it was never. Nothing has been seen since this happened, and it's pretty interesting. But also kind of unfortunate that something like this happened. But I mean, when we're dealing with like these more extraterrestrial cryptids, you know, they're most of the times, like we'll get into, they're kind of like a one and done, and then that's it. There's really nothing else more. So there is also a small little museum slash store for the Flatwoods Monster, and I've been there. Coming back from, I think I mentioned when I'm on the episode afterwards, the Kentucky episode, but I we stopped by the Flatwoods Monster Museum and went inside, and it was more or less just like a little store with some newspaper articles that were around and stuff like that. There was apparently also a jar or two of bark. Apparently, that was of a tree that was like right near the creature when it was seen by all of those people. And so, but that was kind of neat. I mean, that's all I really expected. I mean, like, obviously, like this creature was never seen again afterwards, so it's not like people had another chance to be prepared with like a video camera or anything, like a camera of any sort, or any sort of recording equipment for what was available in that time period. And again, if this thing like truly did hover, there really isn't much to really go off of, any like tracks or anything like that. So we really just have mainly just the articles at the time of when it happened and the bark of it. Now, as far as I'm aware, like I don't think there's anything the bark having any unique properties, but it's more just like, this is the bark of the tree that was nearby the creature. All right, put it into a jar, let people see it, kind of thing. But definitely something I knocked off my bucket list. That there was a little that I actually found that I went there. Unfortunately, though, I was also there. I also want to go there for the West Virginia Bigfoot Museum, but unfortunately, the day or so that I could have been there to go see it was closed. So unfortunately, wasn't able to go there. I took a picture outside of it, but because unfortunately it was closed the time when I would have been able to go inside, I couldn't go in. So that was kind of unfortunate. But I really wanted to go there, but I'll have to try to plan a better trip for it another time. So definitely an interesting thing that, like, let's see. I want to go do something real quick. Lizard Man sightings. When did Lizard Man sightings didn't start until around around 1988 or the 1980s. So this was still before that. So it's not like the whole idea of the reptilian humanoid phenomenon would start flaying people's mind. And yet these people, the people said that they saw the top half of a reptilian humanoid creature that was in this so-called suit of what the people saw the following day at Flatwood. So very interesting, though. So the fact that we saw the initial, and I actually didn't know about the occupant possibly being seen the following day, actually up until much later on, because obviously everyone knows the normal Flatwoods monster look of the creature, but but that one being a bit more interesting. I'm like, huh, okay, interesting. Now, obviously, the people, probably heard about it afterwards, but we saw that, but with the top half not there, kind of thing. So again, there's another thing right there showing more. It may be a coincidence that someone also saw something similar only like the day later, but another interesting detail that they said they saw it without the top half and only the bottom half. People wouldn't think to say like, okay, because again, this only just happened. So the real idea and discussion of what the creature truly was, or the fact that it may have been like something in like a suit, wouldn't have been thought up of, so quickly after that. I mean, who knows how long afterwards the people thinking like, oh, maybe it was actually a thing in a suit, stuff like that. The whole suit idea probably didn't come until after this sighting of it only seeing the top half of the creature, probably came to be. And probably originally people thought it was just some strange weird creature, but then when they saw this, like, oh wait, maybe something, it was just something in a suit. So this couple would not have came up with the idea to fake, be like, okay, people are saying it's this, maybe the creature only had the top half, was visible, and the bottom half was, the suit. Let's change it up a little bit. It's like, no, people would not have thought about that up that quickly back then, when discussion of that even being in a suit was not even a possibility yet. So definitely interesting nonetheless. And okay, I'm gonna read this real quick. Bear with me, because there's some words I'm probably gonna skip and stuff like that. But apparently, something also along with this is that the Flatwoods monster apparently was also part of a mythology of the Polish UF Doomsday cult. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce this. Trust me. The Flatwoods monster species was, according to it, allegedly created by cruel genetic experiments of the religion's evil alien race. And that's it. So apparently these were like created by some like evil alien religion race or something like that, with aliens, stuff like that. Who knows? I'm not really going much off of it, but it was just something that I saw here, and I'd be like, all right, let's let's mention it real quick, kind of thing. But definitely interesting though that we have the Flatwoods monster, with unfortunately a very well-known event, cryptid in the cryptozoology world, was something that was only really seen technically once, probably twice, in a span of 2 days, and that was it. There was nothing else more. There hasn't been anything else seen since then, but yet it's still a big thing in pop culture today. It's surprisingly in a lot of pop culture today. It's in surprisingly many different video games and books and movies. Like the Flatwoods monster appears as a final boss of a video game called Amagon. It appears it records in multiple episodes. It was also the inspiration for a possible aliens in the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Refer to them as them, and you have to stop these aliens, so-called creatures, from stealing these cows on this ranch, and many other things. And there, the video game, like more video games, like surprisingly, a lot of video games like the look and idea of the Flatwoods monster, and have used it as a lot of like as like a lot of different like monsters you fight, bosses, and it's crazy. It's for something that was such a short occurrence that it popped into so much popularity since then. And but also may have been used as a villain in Power Rangers, maybe, or something similar to Power Rangers. Huh. But yeah, it's crazy. You would not think that something like an event that was, because it's such a unique look, that it's like, how can you not see this creature as being interesting? And it definitely is. It definitely is a very interesting one. In fact, that it was seen by so many different people during at the initial sighting of it. I mean, it definitely is interesting, nonetheless, for sure. And I definitely think that this is probably one of like besides like aliens themselves, because aliens in themselves are definitely not considered as a full on like cryptid in a way, but like obviously going by going more like Flatwoods monster being one, but No, I can definitely say for sure the Flatwoods Monster is definitely an alien for sure that was on Earth for some reason. Definitely didn't seem like it had like I mean I guess obviously just from the encounter, definitely didn't seem to be hostile or aggressive. Just had a very had a very unique smell and odor. I guess like a smell and like fog that did affect people, like negatively, and when they smelled it a little bit, but nothing that came too harmful of them and everything else like that. But I can definitely say for sure the Flatwoods Monster definitely is a very unique and interesting cryptid. For as short as it was, is a huge thing in pop culture, and I love that for it. For like it's it's just fantastic. Like Bigfoot's huge in pop culture as well and everything, but for something like this, I love it. It's freaking fantastic. All right, our next one, definitely not as interesting as the Flatwoods Monster, because honestly, like, well, okay, we will get into it and stuff like that. But the next one, we actually I'll make sure. Let me make sure there's nothing else about this. Um, let's see. Nothing else physical of the creature. Okay, I'm making sure I wasn't missing anything else more before I move on. Okay, the next one we can talk about is the Dover Demon. Now, this one is, I would even say, even less known, and even probably just as short, if maybe not even shorter, maybe the same amount of time as as the Flatwoods Monster. The Dover Demon, um, definitely may not be as well known as a cryptid as like other ones, but probably at some point have probably heard of it in some way. This creature was seen in 1970, on from April 21st into and maybe even possibly the 22nd. So it is a small humanoid-like creature, very similar to the looking of a gray. Now, if you're not fully familiar to the alien term of a gray, the gray is pretty much the normal description of what a normal alien looks like. That a lot of the pop culture and the other in society, depicts it as. Like you've got like the rounded headed creature with the big old eyes, no nose, no mouth, no ears, small, slender gray body with the hands and feet, like the generic alien look that you probably have seen in some way, somewhere, in movies, books, video games, somewhere you have seen it. So if you ever seen what the generic look for an alien looks like, that's what it is. That is generically what is called a gray. So you've now been caught up with lingo. But so in a very so in okay, let's see. The Dover Demon has not been seen associated with any UFOs, but just the generic look of it makes it seem very just alienish because again, it looks like the generic definition of what a gray, would be. Okay, so I'm gonna read over the only two known sightings of the creature. All right. On April 21st, in 1970 at 10:32 p.m., three 17-year-old boys, I'm not gonna try, I can probably say the name, but I really don't feel like it, are driving north on Fairmount on Farm Street. The driver who's the driver of the car spots something creeping along the low wall of loose stones on the left side of the road. At first, he thinks the creature is a dog or a cat until his headlights shine on it and realizes it is nothing he's ever seen before. The figure slowly turns its head and stares into the large into the light, its two large, round, glassy, lidless eyes shining brightly, like two orange marbles. Its watermelon-shaped head resting on top of a thin neck is the size of the rest of its body, except for its oversized head. The creature is thin, with long, spindly arms and legs. The large hands and with large hands and feet. The skin is hairless and peach colored and appears to have a large, rough texture like wet sandpaper. Um, apparently, Because apparently later on in life, he told Lauren Coleman about the story, who's a cryptozoologist at the Cryptozoology Museum. Uh, no more standing than 3.5 to 4 feet tall, the figure is shaped like a baby's body with long arms and legs. It had been making its way along the wall, its long fingers curling around the rocks when the lights car surprised it. Unfortunately, neither of the companions saw the creature, so it was only the driver. The sighting lasts only a few seconds before the driver saw it, before the driver could speak. The car and then the car leaves the scene. The creature is gone. The driver drops his friend off before he goes off to his home. Visibly upset, he walks through the door and his father asks him what's wrong. The driver relates the story and later sketches what he's seen, which is the very well-known generic description of the creature. So I'll also be posting a picture as well of the Dover Demon, so you can get the generic description of what this young man drew. I believe I think it was also the following night, or also that night, just somewhere differently. Around midnight, 15-year-old John leaves his girlfriend Kathy's house at the south end of Miller High Road. Then starts walking up the street on his way to his home. Half an hour later, as he's walked about a mile, he observes someone approaching him. Because the figure is short, he assumes that it is an acquaintance of his, of one of his friends, who also lives on the street. He calls out, and no response. He and the figure continue to approach each other until finally the ladder stops. He then halts as he asks, "Who is that?" The dark sky and overcast, he can only see a shadowy form. Trying to get a better look, takes one step forward to the creature. The creature scurries off to the left, running down a shallow wooded gully to the opposite bank. As the figure runs, he hears his footsteps on the dry leaves. He follows the figure down the slope and then stops and looks across the gully. There he sees the creature, standing in a silhouette about 30 feet away, its feet molded around the top of a rocks, several feet from a tree. The creature's body reminds him of a monkey, except for its dark figure 8 shaped head. So kind of like the rounded shape, they kind of explain it a little bit. Its eyes, 2 lighter spots in the middle of the head, are looking straight at him, who, after a few minutes, begins to feel uneasy. Realizing that he has never seen such a creature before and fearing what it might do next, he backs up and carefully up the slope, his heart pounding. He then walks very fast down the road to the intersection of his street. There, passing a couple of bikes, picking him up and drive him home. And that's it. So we have these 2 sightings, possibly of day 1 and day 2, of seeing this very strange, looking creature. In both these sightings, the creature did seem to show, I guess, no aggression towards the people who had seen it, which is kind of hard in a way to show if there was any real aggression, because the one way a lot of animals, like people and stuff like that, show their aggression, is a lot of time with like facial features, but also at the same time can also be used with body expressions and stuff like that. But this thing didn't seem to show any of that. This creature only seemed to be more startled that it was seen than anything else. The second night, it was probably more curious about what's this other thing here, and decided to go up and then get a closer look. But then realizing when this thing was also curious about it and was getting too close, probably scared it and it probably ran away. But definitely very interesting, though, that, again, that's something that adds credibility, especially, like, yeah, sure, there is some credibility there's credibility to the first one, but what adds more credibility to the second story is that this had just happened. So the chances are there being any sort of news update, any news about the creature, like, at all, or a newspaper, probably didn't happen yet, because it probably hasn't been spit out to the public. Like, who knows how long after this that they finally showed it off to the public. And so this person who saw it the second time would have no reason, would have no way to know this thing would even exist or was seen before to even make it up. And yet this person saw the same creature, just the following day, and and was and then just saw the creature, and then he would have no reason to, he would have no way to making this up, and yet he saw this same exact creature the following day. A very interesting thing. So some explanations for it are, if people think that some say that it might have been a loose baby moose, that a lost baby moose that may have been seen under the wrong conditions and stuff like that. This second one, maybe, but not the first one, because the person got a full on headlight look of the creature when the car finally did, pass in front of it. And you know what? We're gonna go into this real quick. Moose eye colors. Let's go into this real quick. Moose have a moose eyes and a black pupil, or and a golden in the eye. Okay, moose eye shine. Let's do that. Well, what we want? Eye shine color. Goodness gracious. Have more of usually red. So okay, so even though the stories have been saying that it had more of an orange, and red isn't that far from it, but it'd be kind of hard for you to, speculate, the size of the thing with a, with a baby moose in a way, because baby moose height. Let's look at the height real quick. So baby moose can be from okay, that's 24. It's 2 to 3 feet. The size of the creature. Hold on, let me see if I can find it again. Where is the size? Oh, here we go. Around 3 to 4 feet tall. So still, it's still, it could, it could have possibly been a young moose, if anything like that. But no, there's no way that someone could misidentify a moose, in, if you especially got it under the light. Sure, yeah, they do have little spindly little legs, and gosh dang, baby moose are cute. I really gotta say, if you want to see a baby moose, look at a baby moose. They're adorable. You kind of want to just cuddle them, and yet they can possibly evolve into, they not evolve. They grow up to be these just very dangerous creatures that can, pound you with their hooves, but still very cute nonetheless. But okay. How well seen are moose in Massachusetts? Despite their large size in Massachusetts, they are very hard to find. They're not very common. So unless it was one of the very rare cases that a baby moose was running by that got lost from its mother, it's not like they're a very common thing. So, if they're more common, okay, maybe there could be a little bit of evidence to support that. But I don't believe, if someone who, maybe at least aware of what a moose looks like, saw this creature and been like, yeah, that was definitely not a moose kind of thing, hard to say. And especially when, when people see something that they're not they're not, mentally ready for. Let's say this person has seen a moose before. And then he saw this creature and it was so visibly shaken by it that he wouldn't be shaken up if he misidentified a baby moose, unless he was really not within it that time, and it just really freaked him out when he saw a baby moose. But I believe he really did see something, some sort of creature that, and what exactly it is, who knows. But I can definitely say for sure they definitely did see the Dover demon. And then of course then the kid who then saw it the following day, not knowing about it, saw something very similar to it as well. Another explanation that people think that it actually might have been an escaped gibbon, of a very, which is illegal in general. Because apparently some species of gibbon have orange babies, and while white cheeked gibbons have an orange color in females. But hard to say. I don't believe it was an escaped primate or anything else like that. I believe the person did truly see what they saw, and what exactly it was, we'll never know because this was it. There was nothing else seen of this creature since then. This creature has also been used in not as many before, but has been used in pop culture before, and in MetaZoo, like a Flatwoods Monster was as well, and an episode of Lost Tapes. But I definitely do believe that they definitely did. They saw something, some sort of extraterrestrial that somehow was on Earth for some unknown reason, and we will never know. Was he lost here? Was he dropped off here? The one idea that Earth is a prison planet and some of these weird creatures that we keep seeing are alien captives thrown on here as as a prison sentence or something like that. We will never know. But I definitely do believe that these two kids did see something, but what exactly it was, don't know. But probably some sort of extraterrestrial for sure. Another interesting thing I also want to mention about the Dover Demon, real quick, is cryptozoologists aren't really interested in the subject because it doesn't seem to be that, it's not that interesting. There's only the two sightings, happened in only 2 days, and then that was it. There's not more evidence of it, overlapping story, there's not a lot to it. It's just these two sightings, that's it. There's no physical evidence, no tracks, nothing, no more sightings since then. So many cryptozoologists and people just kind of throw to the wayside of being, all right, well, that's it. All right, there's no real reason looking into it, kind of thing. But sure, yeah, may not make it as interesting as like Bigfoot, Dogman, like other cryptids that have a lot more sightings to them. But I think we do need to think of it a little bit as like, well, why are there no more? Obviously, the simple one being why there are no more, because there were no more things and no one saw anymore. Like, okay, well, where did it go? Like, did it die? If it was an alien, did it get picked up and taken somewhere else? Or again, like I just said, the more simplified idea that it just died. It perished somewhere, and that's why there's no more sightings of it because the creature's not alive, and maybe that was the only one. And where did it go and stuff like that. So, or is it still around and people don't see it, or the one idea that it moved, underground, and the underground Earth, and the hollow Earth theory and stuff like that, kind of thing, like terrestrials and stuff. So I don't know. We will see. I think there's definitely at least something a bit more to think of, like, why are there no more sightings for some of these cryptids, stuff like that. And, maybe something else could become interesting of it. Or there could be nothing else more interesting of it, and this is it. There's nothing else more to go off of from it and stuff like that. And the two quick things I'm going to mention real quick. One of them, I believe we mentioned last episode, the, let's see. Was this multiple pages? Yeah. Actually, no, this was actually maybe even a little. Oh, this was actually a few episodes ago. Yeah, we talked about the Hopkinsville goblins. There was a story I heard many years ago. A family in their cabin was supposedly attacked by a group of by a horde of aliens outside their cabin, and this family just unloaded bullets into them. And I tried looking it up again, and apparently, like I mentioned before, that it actually may have been this one, because when I typed that up, that was the only thing I was covering, was coming up. So, the Hopkins, if you don't 100% know exactly what I'm talking about, go to episode 32 of the podcast and listen to, the part where I mentioned the Hopkinsville goblins, and, so you can kind of hear a bit more about it from there. So, but I believe those are possibly extraterrestrials for sure, just by their look and everything else like that. And this last one, do not take me seriously for this one, but apparently some people do think of it. But again, until we know for sure, we will not know. But some people believe that Bigfoot is an alien. Now, I know I have mentioned it before, and I don't fully believe it myself, but some people have said that they have seen a Bigfoot on the ground and a UFO, like in the sky, like up in the sky kind of thing, saying, oh, I see that thing and that thing together nearby. They must be connected, or that's just coincidence. Some people have reported saying that they have seen Bigfoot, coming, being coming out of a UFO, or of a beam of some sort, and maybe that's true. But maybe also, like I mentioned before, but I've talked about this in the past. Maybe big aliens are just as interested as we are in Bigfoot, and they probably honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they've abducted a few Bigfoots to see what's going on with them. It's like, we've got like these mostly hairless monkey things down here, and then we got these big hairy monkey things here. Let's go figure out what's going on with these guys. And I wouldn't be surprised if aliens have abducted Bigfoot from time to time just to see what's going on with them. I really wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, but I don't believe Bigfoot is not an alien. Bigfoot is something of this earth. I believe though it probably has been abducted. I mean, because why not? If they're interested in us, I wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't be interested in the other things on our planet. Whew, and that's it. That's the alien cryptid episode. Did pretty good with this. I'm not gonna lie. I've been wanting to do the Flatwoods Monster for a while, but I've been trying to think of like, I want a good time to do it, and I've mentioned before that I would and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, all right, well, let's do an episode with them, the Dover Demon, and stuff like that. Because even that, as short as both of them were, especially the Flatwoods Monster one, very impactful, and so in media and the culture of the world and America and stuff like that. So definitely something that went on with there, and obviously the Dover Demon, not as extravagant as the Flatwoods Monster one, but still very interesting. Definitely needs to at least be considered as a very important cryptid. That not much happened there, but still not. The creature was also only seen walking on all fours. It necessarily wasn't seen on two legs walking around. So hard to say, could that mean something else? Or, I definitely believe that we shouldn't look past the Dover Demon 100%, and maybe look into it a bit more of, why are there no more things besides the obvious that people haven't seen it yet, haven't seen it since then. Because obviously to have reports of any sort of cryptid like Bigfoot or anything, you need to have people there. And when you have people there who then see the things, they can then report the sightings. But if you don't have people there can't be sightings. So maybe this thing is somewhere else where there's not people, or very rare amount of people, and that's why there's no sightings of it. But we will never know. But that's it. This was actually a really good one. I'm actually really happy about this one. And I hope you all enjoyed as well. I hope you learned something new about it too. The Flatwoods Monster has always been a very interesting one for sure, because who the hell knows what really was going on with that? And the Dover Demon, same thing. Not as well known, as impactful as the Flatwoods Monster, but definitely very cool nonetheless. But I hope you all enjoyed this one, and because I actually, even after being sick this past week, I've actually really enjoyed this one as well. This was a lot of fun to record and everything like that. But I hope you all have a good day. And remember, if this is your first time here, welcome. Make sure you follow the Facebook page, facebook.com/CryptidTalk. I know last week I said I'll post a poll, but being sick and everything, I just wasn't able to. So keep an eye on a poll coming up soon. And obviously I will post pictures of what the drawing of the Dover Demon looks like, and the generic look of what the Flatwoods Monster looks like, so you can see for yourselves. And of course, to follow with the YouTube channel, like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. All that definitely does help for sure. And because all that definitely helps me get recommended to more people, then more likely for people to subscribe, and then grow from there. I want to grow this community into something great and fun and safe for people to share their stories and everything else like that. Also, if you or someone else has seen anything in the woods, in the wooders, in the skies, anywhere in our world, heard anything, it could be a long story or it could be a short one. Email me about it, and let me hear about it. cryptidtalk91@aol.com. I would love to hear about your stories and everything like that. And remember, keep your ears and eyes open for the creepiness in store, because you never know what you'll find outside of your door. This has been Cryptid Talk with Michael Mannon. Have a good day, everyone. Stay safe. Love you all.